I know there's a lot of Evercade fans out there, people who enjoy a lot of the things they put out, and then there's people who are big collectors. They buy everything that Blaze puts out concerning the Evercade, every cartridge, every console, every variant, that kind of thing. And that's cool. You know, more power to you. Whatever makes you happy, no matter what anybody has to say about it, it shouldn't take away from your enjoyment, right? And I've been somebody who has been following along since the beginning, and I am an Evercade fan. I just am not an extreme Evercade fan, I guess you would say. I've tried out pretty much every cartridge they've put out, all their systems, and there's certain things I've liked and certain things I haven't liked. I've discussed these things before. Certain cartridges for me have been misses, some have been hits. It's just the way it goes. That's how gaming is. Not everything can be for everyone. But with Evercade going into the future, I think one of the biggest things, one of the most important things for them to survive with this product line and to keep it going is supporting the indie community by having deals where they can publish indie games and put them out on cartridges. And I think that is really what's going to keep them relevant, keep them going, because I'm sure like licensing deals with other big name companies, at some point you're going to license everything that companies are, willing to license out, right? That's got to dry up at some point. Even though there's tons and tons of retro games that could be licensed, it's the willingness of these companies to do so. So yeah, I really think indie releases are important for the Evercade. They've done some pretty awesome collections. The Cathedral and Awa's Awakening collection was amazing. I really dig that one. And then they've done the Indie Heroes collection. They're now releasing the second one, which I'm taking a look at today in this video. So this collection here, it's interesting. It's got 12 games. These games were a part of the Game of the Month that Evercade did last year, that you could download each month a game and you had limited access to play it. So a lot of people may have already played a good portion of these games if you're an Evercade fan. But this does include, the cartridge like normal and then a full color manual. And the manual goes over each of the creators of these games and then the game itself. I love that they do these manuals, but to speak more on this collection, this is not my favorite collection from Evercade. While I find it is pretty cool that it has a bunch of games on it for a reasonable price, in my opinion, I kind of wish these things would be a little more focused at times, but at the same time, I could see that being detrimental. Like having a collection that has a good mix of different genres and whatnot, a nice little sampling of what people have to offer. Like I understand like a specific company, like a Capcom or an Irem, you're going to have a selection of their titles type of thing. But sometimes I wish there was like an RPG collection, a action adventure collection, that kind of thing when it comes to these indie games, puzzle collection, that sort of style. But I get it, give a good mix of everything, celebrate these people who are working on these games, putting them out there. But okay, the 12 games that this includes, you have Tapeworm Disco Puzzle, Nessie the Robot, Recnum Souls Adventure, the Cowlitz Gamer Adventure Trilogy. I'm not sure if I'm saying this next one correctly, the Grunio Zerka Trilogy, and then Anguna, Scourge of the Goblin King, Aira, the Crow Maiden, Beer Slinger, Lunar Journey, Yeah Yeah Beavis 2, Gelatinous Humanity Lost, and then Nyx the Paradox Relic. Now, I've played every single game on here. A few of them I did complete. A couple of them, they weren't really my style. And that's my issue. It's just my issue. It's not really a criticism. But some of these games they missed, they were misses for me. I just didn't enjoy them for one reason or another. And some of them other people may like. That's just the way gaming is. Like, I just have to be honest. I don't like this collection as a full, complete collection because there was only 2 or 3 games on here that I actually enjoyed. Things like Beer Slinger, for example. It's an indie game that was released a while back on cartridge, and I've had the cartridge for some years now for the NES. Paid more for it than what this cartridge cost, but I played through that game. It's kind of like Tapper, but a little different. You got digitized voices, patrons coming up, ordering different beers, and you got to make so much money each day type of thing. It was fun. It was a minor distraction. Once I beat it on the NES, once I played through the whole thing, I never returned to it just because I felt like I'd seen everything that was worth seeing. But yeah, there's a few titles here that didn't really tickle it for me for one reason or another. And the main reason I think would be simply because I just didn't like the style of game. Some games may not have seemed as polished as they could have been, like hitbox detection seemed off, movement seemed off type of thing. But what I still would like to see is these collections to continue moving forward and more of them coming out, because some of these, indie studios who make these games, they're continually learning and progressing as well. I'm not saying this is a bad collection, just some of the games I just didn't like as much. Like one game, for example, I thought I wasn't going to like it was Nyx the Paradox Relic. When I first jumped into that one, I wasn't too sure, but as I got going, I was like, you know what, this is a fairly interesting game. I like what was done here. And there's a few games here out of this 12 that were cool. I like them, but I just feel like this overall package, it's obvious. You got 12 games here. There's nothing that really stands out as far as a, like, hey, we could have released this as a Alwa and Cathedral, like a double pack or a single pack. There's nothing really there that screams like this is a full experience. A lot of these games are fairly short. Some of them, like I said, not as polished as I would have liked them to be, and that's fine. It's a little collection of 12 games. You may find something you like here. You may find stuff you don't like. It's just the nature of gaming. And there's stuff here that I know people like Tapeworm Disco Puzzle, a fairly polished puzzle game. But I just, myself, I don't enjoy those types of games. So, like, if that was released on its own or as a double pack and a puzzle, I wouldn't have bought it. I wouldn't be interested in that cartridge. So maybe that's one of the reasons, like, hey, we're not going to do genre-specific cartridges with indie releases, because then it's going to turn into, like, more passes than buys. Like, we would like to have these bigger collections where people are like, you know what, maybe I'll like a few of these games, and I think it's worth it for the $20. I think that's the direction they're going. But regardless, more focused collections or not, I do want to see more of this happen with these indie heroes and just different indie studios, maybe bigger titles, things that are specifically made for the Evercade, like how they did the Cathedral port. Like, it wasn't just running, from an emulated version. It was a port made for the Evercade. That was really awesome, and I would like to see more of that. Would like to see more of what they did here as well. Just, some of my little thoughts here and there. You can agree, disagree, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, more focused collections would be something I would like to see, but I get it that they probably won't do that. But yeah, interesting collection. There's going to be something here I'm sure people will find that they like. But if you're one of those people like, hey, I got to have that numbered collection continually going, then hey, go ahead and grab it, I guess. But appreciate you guys watching. Catch you on the next one. Bye.